right, so let's dig into today's topic about intermittent fasting and how that can help heal your gut. So, intermittent fasting, you might ask, well, what is it? What it is simply periods of eating versus periods of refraining from eating. And in fact, fasting has been around since the 5th century, and it was believed at that time even to help improve or help cure illness. And over the years, intermittent fasting has continued to evolve to get a better understanding of how restricted eating can help longevity and the health of your body as a whole. Hi, I'm Marcy Vasky, and I'm a functional medicine nutritionist specializing in gut health. I help people with those bothering symptoms such as gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, and many other symptoms. If this resonates with you, I have shared a link below where you can easily make an initial appointment with us and see if we can sort out what's going on. Also, I've shared a link if you're interested in our free guide, which is 5 ways to improve gut health. So, how can intermittent fasting help heal your gut? Well, anytime we eat, it's actually very difficult for the body to digest food. Those that have a healthy digestive system tend to do just fine with no problems. But intermittent fasting has been shown to help those with leaky gut or intestinal permeability to help heal up the intestinal tract. And when we have leaky gut, that means that pathogens, toxins, or even food particles are getting into our bloodstream, causing inflammation and what you would feel as food sensitivities. Intermittent fasting also helps with autophagy. And you might say, well, what is that? Well, autophagy is actually where it's a process of where your cells clean house and they get rid of old and damaged materials in order to set up a better, cleaner environment so you can feel and look younger. Intermittent fasting also helps to kind of down-regulate or reboot our system. And in fact, it allows better microbiome or more bacterial diversity in our intestinal tract, giving space to set up and get rid of some of that bad bacteria that might be harboring in there. And as we kind of reboot the system, it gives that break for our body to do the work that it needs to do by setting up healthier types of flora. Intermittent fasting also helps the diversity of our microbiome. So when we kind of turn the system down, or by fasting, it allows for that reboot, and it helps to increase the flora and the microbiome in our intestinal tract, giving way for decreased chronic inflammation, and it kind of just sorts itself out. Also, with the microbiome diversity that it does help, it also helps to decrease the pathogens that might be in there. Intermittent fasting also improves the natural circadian rhythm. So you've probably heard that as you are awake in sleep cycles, that's kind of our body's circadian rhythm. However, it's interesting to know that our microbiome actually has its own circadian rhythm. And when we're fasting, it gives a chance to sort of, I've used the word prior, reboot it. But what it does is that certain bacteria during our wake and sleep cycles are more plentiful. And when we're fasting, it gives that break to them and sort of resets that whole system. So just a little recap. By fasting, you can decrease inflammation, increase your microbiome diversity, and give a reboot to your intestinal tract, helping to rid maybe some of those food sensitivities, as well as just giving a break to your intestinal tract altogether. In addition, intermittent fasting can also have some advantages in lowering the risk of type 2 diabetes. It can also help you lose weight, and that's sometimes why a lot of people get started in it. It also can help, actually, as I said earlier, trigger that cellular repair, which is called autophagy. So you might be wondering, this sounds kind of interesting. I might like to try this to reset my gut. So here's a few different types of intermittent fasting. There's lots of them out there, but we'll just run through a few of them. One is the 5 and 2. So that's where you eat 5 days, you eat normally, and for 2 days you're fasting. And on those 2 days that you're eating, 500 calories or less. That's one way of doing it. The most popular way of doing intermittent fasting is just going to be something called time restricted eating. And with that, you're doing that each day, either a 14-hour fast, a 16-hour fast. And then on the 14-hour, you have a 10-hour eating window. And on the 16-hour fast, you have an 8-hour window. There's also the 24-hour fast. And those are all kind of, you can interplay, intermingle them, and however it works best in your lifestyle. That's kind of the beauty of intermittent fasting, is that you can really tailor it to what you need. And then last, more popular way of intermittent fasting is going to be alternate day fasting. So you'll eat on one day and then you'll fast the next day and so on. And some individuals like to consume on their fasting day 500 calories or less as well, sort of depending on what your goals are and what what you're looking for. Now, one of the things that I noted earlier was intermittent fasting does increase autophagy, that cellular repair. You need to fast at least up to 16 or more hours to reach that autophagy stage. So now we kind of know what intermittent fasting is, how it can help heal the gut, and a few ways to maybe go about intermittent fasting. But, here are 5 strategies that you might want to put in play as you're thinking about which type of fasting protocol you'd like to begin. First of all, you want to fix your gut problems. So if you have pathogenic or pathogens or toxins or some or opportunistic bacteria in your gut, you'll want to work with a functional medicine nutritionist to help rid yourself of that first. Secondly, you want to be mindful about food sensitivities. So if you're having a lot of gut issues, even going into intermittent fasting, what you want to think about is taking some of those foods out. For instance, gluten, soy, dairy, those are big inflammatory type foods. I recommend taking them out, leaving them out for at least 6 weeks while you begin your intermittent fasting. This way, lessening the inflammatory state on your body, and the fasting can help even more. After that 6-week period, you can try reintroducing the foods again. Now, sometimes some of them are going to work great and no problem after that period of time, but sometimes we just have to accept that there are food sensitivities that we are going to struggle with. Another practice to incorporate while you're doing intermittent fasting or just leading a healthy nutritional diet is to keep in fermented or those cultured foods. They give way to building up a good bacteria in our digestive system, so all those little flora that we need can grow from them. Foods like sauerkraut or kimchi or miso or even some kefir, they are going to be very helpful in keeping good bacteria in and the bad bacteria out. Another practice that you might want to try as you're leading into intermittent fasting and doing that would be having a higher fat and protein diet. And reason being is that it helps your blood sugar. It can help you stay fuller longer because of that. In a well-designed, meal plan or diet, you want to make sure you're doing those fiber-rich carbohydrates, fermented and cultured foods, and some of those prebiotic-rich vegetables as well, just to improve your outcome. And lastly, it's very important always to think about your gut health in the way that, we've talked about it with foods, we've talked about what foods to put in, but also you have to realize that the stress we have in our life contributes to poor gut health, and the bad sleep we might have contributes to poor gut health, and even just lack of exercise. So incorporating all these strategies into trying some different types of intermittent fasting to help heal your gut is going to give you your best outcome and your quickest outcome. And lastly, I do want to talk about intermittent fasting is not well suited for everybody. So those that have had prior or have current eating disorders, pregnant women, anyone in those situations, or are being, watched by a medical physician for certain disease or illness, make sure that it's covered by, or that you speak to them about what you're doing, and that, intermittent fasting can be great, but it needs to be great for you. And sometimes even just speaking and talking with a functional medicine nutritionist, we can kind of pinpoint which is going to be best for you. So again, if you're interested, we have that link below that I shared. You're welcome to make an appointment, and good luck to all of you.